Lovelies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stronach. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you'll be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos with commentaries and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the great MVP. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into this. So, lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys where this colored man is actually out to share things that he learned, listening to people that looks like me. And I super found this series interesting. Then I decided to put it up here for us to actually, get to say it. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for education and informative purposes. Alright,
good morning, white people. This is a new series I'm calling Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women. It seems that most of you aren't, so I'm hoping that by being a straight white man and repeating what they say, maybe you'll listen to that. Number 1. Black people do not owe you anything. They don't owe you an education, they don't owe you a reading list, and they certainly do not owe you their Sunday afternoon to go to your protest march. They don't owe you a thank you for doing what you should already be doing, which is being a compassionate, empathetic human being. And perhaps most of all, they don't owe you a warm, fuzzy feeling for saying you're an ally or that you're one of the good ones. Tune in next time when we'll cover seasoning your food and why you can't eat at everybody's house. Good morning, white people. This is part 2 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. Disclaimer, black people are not a monolith, and every person has their own opinion. I am summarizing and simplifying in the hopes of educating. Also, if you're a white person and this offends you, this is for you. Sit down. Number 1, we are making it very difficult, if not impossible, for black people to care about American politics. 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. They organized, they got out to vote, which in some places is very difficult and time-consuming on purpose. And what did they get in return? 52% of white women and 59% of white men voted for a man who is openly racist. So they wish us well, but on the whole, they're feeling completely disenfranchised and above all, very, very tired. Some black people go even further and saying, let it burn, tear this bitch down to the studs. Maybe some of you will get a tiny taste of what we've had to deal with for decades, if not centuries. Maybe then, if it's not too late, you'll do something about it. Either way, good luck. One person added, did you know that there are over 1,000 episodes of One Piece? I'm gonna go watch them all. Tune in next time when we'll cover not telling your white child to find a black woman if they're lost in a crowded place. Because apparently that's something that we're doing. That's all for now, and don't forget to share this with other white people. Good morning, white people. This is part 3 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. There have been a lot of videos of white women asking, what can I do to help? What can I do to show black people that I'm safe to be around? The overwhelming majority of black women have answered this question by saying, talk amongst yourselves. Have the difficult conversations with your mothers, your aunts, your sisters, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. Dismantle your own internal biases. Don't try to appear safe. Be safe. Be compassionate, be empathetic, and don't think you deserve a reward for doing so. Your intent will come through without you having to say anything if it's sincere. Another big one was defend black women at work, meaning if you notice that someone else is dismissive of what someone is saying because they're black, stop it. Call it out. If a black person has an idea that gets dismissed by a white person who then suddenly puts that idea forth 10 minutes later, call that out. Make it visible. Make it uncomfortable. Many black women talk about being scared of white women even more than they are afraid of white men. They point out how hypocritical it is that the same white women who said they'd choose the bear over the man are calling black women crazy for feeling safer around white men than white women. If you feel the need to point out not all blank, doesn't matter what it is, then you are the person that people have to worry about. Tune in next time when we'll cover why you don't need AAVE when you've got expressions like I've had it up to here, and you're cruising for a bruisin'. That's all for now. Please share with other white people. Side note, I have a lot of new black women followers. Thank you so much for watching me stumble through this. I hope it goes without saying that if you have any specific topics that you'd like me to listen for and share with other white people, please let me know. And if you're feeling especially generous, feel free to correct me if I get things wrong. Again, thank you so much. Good evening, white people. This is episode 4 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you listen to that. Normally, I cobble these videos together with quotes and summaries from a bunch of different people. Today, I was fortunate enough to have someone reach out to me directly, and I'm going to just read what they sent me more or less as is. Here goes. To all the white people who don't consider themselves racist, you are, unfortunately, a large part of why racism persists. When you say nothing, you are complicit. Excusing racist behavior by saying your grandparents were born in a different time or that's just how they were raised does not absolve you. It makes you just as culpable. I literally saw a video on TikTok of a young white woman who went through photos of her grandmother and found her grandmother dressed as a Klansman. That young white woman laughed like it was the funniest thing since Richard Pryor. White people need to hold each other accountable and enforce consequences. Racist grandmother? Cut her off. Racist sibling? Cut them off. Racist best friend since childhood? Cut them off. The racist grandmother on her deathbed who wants to see you one last time? Don't fulfill that request. That racist father who hates that you married a black man but wants to know your children? Don't expose them to that hate. That friend who's getting married but won't let you bring your black or person of color significant other because they're marrying into a racist family? Don't go to that wedding. Racism needs consequences. That's all for now. Please share this with other white people and tune in next time when we'll discover the nuances of what it means when a black woman says, okay. The answer may surprise you. Good morning, white people. This is part 5 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white guy repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. Black people are not mules for your DNA. And before anybody comes for me, I am not talking about interracial relationships between people that love each other. I am talking specifically about how we as white people go and try to have children with black people specifically so that we can get the physical characteristics of black people into our children, which is a thing that we're doing. I swear, every time I think that I have understood the depths of how we exploit black people, we manage to go lower. Here are some direct quotes. I've had white men tell me that they wanted to breed with me because I'm one of the good black girls because I'm light-skinned with hazel eyes and curly hair. In high school, the white girls that dated the black football players or basketball players would talk about their boyfriends in a fetish type way. Example, can't wait to have light-skinned, green-eyed babies. I want mixed babies so bad. I hope our future kids don't have his hair. You know, I have to remove "it goes without saying" from my vocabulary. These are people we're talking about with hearts and minds and thoughts and feelings. And they would appreciate it if you could stop treating them as some kind of genetic enhancement tool. That's all for now. Share this with other white people and tune in next time when we'll talk about side-eye. It's not just an expression, it's an entire language. Good morning, white people. Welcome to episode 6 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you won't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. Black women would really appreciate it if we would stop trying to touch their hair. If you ask before attempting to do this, it's just rude and creepy. And if you don't ask, you are touching someone without their consent, which is called assault. While sadly it probably won't, this behavior should get you slapped, if not arrested. This is especially true for black children. Try to imagine a random adult just walking up and trying to touch you. Or try to imagine what you would do if someone tried to walk up and touch your child. So please, let's keep our hands to ourselves. That's all for now. Please share with other white people, and tune in next time when we'll cover trifling, what it is, why you're doing it, and how you can learn to stop. Good morning, white people. Welcome to another episode of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you won't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. Today we're going to talk about African American Vernacular English, or AAVE. It's a dialect of English that's used by many black Americans, especially amongst themselves. Most credible linguists agree that while it has some elements and common history with the accent used in the American South, it has its own unique grammatical, vocabulary, and accent features. The general consensus I've heard from black women is that unless you were raised speaking AAVE, it is totally inappropriate for you to attempt to speak it. There are a number of reasons for this, but let's use an example with a different dialect. Imagine you were out in public and saw a group of Scottish people speaking with a Scottish accent. Then imagine you walk up to those people and attempt to speak to them in that accent. This would be, at best, cringe-inducing, but it would more likely be assumed to be patronizing or mocking. Why then do we assume it's okay to do the same thing when we see a group of black people? White people also have a centuries-long history of dismissing AAVE as bad grammar or poorly spoken English, and concluding that the people who speak it are poorly educated and unintelligent, making our attempts to speak it even more of a slap in the face. So please, don't do this. It doesn't make you look cool, it's not funny, and it makes everyone involved feel really uncomfortable. That's all for now. Please share this with other white people, and tune in next time when we'll discuss the importance of knowing who made the potato salad. Good morning, white people. Welcome to episode 8 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. A reminder that black people are not a monolith and everyone has their own opinion. I am summarizing and simplifying in the hopes of educating. Also, I'm just here to break your social media bubble. If you care about these topics, go get the information from the source. 5 seconds of Googling goes a really long way. Moving on! Black women would like to remind you that racism towards black people is a white problem. Most of us are taught from a young age that racism is something that happens to black people rather than something that is perpetrated by white people. This distinction is crucial because it shows where the problem actually lies. Think of it this way. Imagine you're out at the Bass Pro Shop or the Whole Foods, and I just walk up to you and, apropos of nothing, punch you in the throat and knock you down. Now imagine that while I continue to pummel you, people just casually walk past and say things like, "Wow, getting beat up is awful," and "That person should really protect themselves," and "I stand with people that are on the ground getting the stuffing beat out of them." You see how ridiculous that sounds? That's exactly what we're doing when we don't frame racism as a white problem. And if we don't frame it correctly, we're going to go looking for solutions in the wrong place. We can only end racism if we educate white people that want to do better and ostracize those that don't. But J-Bill, there are racist black people. Yes, and also hats exist, and neither of those things makes what I just said any less true. Maybe stop worrying about the behavior of hypothetical people and just focus on you and yours. That's all for now. Please share this with other white people, and tune in next time when we'll learn all about your little friends, and who definitely isn't one of them. Good morning, white people. Welcome to episode 9 of Things I Learned by Listening to Black Women, the series where you don't listen to black women, so a straight white man repeats what they say, and maybe you'll listen to that. Justin? Kevin? Where do you think you're going? Sit back down. Black women would like to remind you that "you're pretty for a black girl" is not only not a compliment, it's super offensive. For starters, how is anyone supposed to respond to that? "Oh, I'm pretty for a black girl? Well, you smell nice for a complete piece of shit." Conditional compliments are always bad, but in this case, it's far worse than just rude. When you say "you're pretty for a black girl," you're acknowledging your racist, societally reinforced belief that white European women are the gold standard for beauty, and that you're surprised that anyone who doesn't fall into that category could even be beautiful. This is an extremely harmful stereotype that we've been promoting for centuries. It's yet another way that we're trying to tell black women that they're inferior. It's also noticeable that a lot of biracial and light-skinned black women tend to get told this, which is basically saying, "The part of you that I perceive as white is beautiful." To be clear, black women do not need white validation of their beauty, and they'd appreciate it if you treat them like human beings and not like objects for you to evaluate with your white male gaze. That's all for now. Please share this with other white people, and tune in next time when we'll cover how to navigate a party when you've been introduced to 9 different people named Junior.
Seriously, Davis, I actually wish that a lot of people will actually, embark on this series. Like, this is just getting yourself aware. This is just getting yourself educated. This is just getting yourself to know what people that looks like me often complain. So I actually want to chip in something concerning the one he talked about, how people that looks like me, especially black women, feel more safer around pan-colored men compared to pan-colored women. I think this actually has to do with what really took place sometimes, I think about 4 months or 3 months back, where this lady, White Women Whispers, she came out during the discourse of the bear, choosing the bear, and also the men, which a lot of people were like choosing the bear compared to choosing the man. So this White Woman Whispers, decided to come out on her platform, and she directed a question to pan-colored women. She actually directed a question to black women more specifically, and she was like, imagine yourself in a conference room with like in a conference room alone. Would you prefer as a black woman to be in that conference room with a pan-colored woman or a pan-colored man? A lot of black women was like they prefer to be with a pan-colored man in the conference room, maybe alone. And this got a lot of pan-colored women reacting. Some pan-colored women were like calling out black women, like they were so angry. And eventually, I don't know what they did to her. They did to this woman that actually directed this question to her, and upon everything that she has to put in place, they brought her down. Like they practically proved what the said White Woman Whispers was trying to say. They dragged her down. I think they even made her stop posting videos on TikTok. Like seriously, when a black woman feels so insecure about there are reasons. There are so many reasons that you have to. I would say that all of them, like there are so many other people that is very reasonable and very good, like we all know. But there's this this particular set of pan-colored women that, oh my goodness, you really need to stay clear from. Like if they don't use their white women tears against you, like seriously, especially in corporate office places, like the way at which they make people that look like me, their lives are miserable. Like there are so many stitches and videos out there to prove all of this. I have stitched so many of them here. I have really stitched, Okay, let's just digress with this thing that happened with election and all of that. A lot of pan-colored women were all out, oh my God, crying. We could have done better. We could have done right. We could have, supported black women. This is the opportunity we could have, show our support to people of the people of color. They'll just use that word. Some of them actually went as far as trying to make this blue bracelet to actually indicate that, okay, we are not the bad ones. We are the ones that you need to, feel safe with. Like, it's actually not all about that. It's not all about that. I think there are a lot of work that needs to do in so many communities. Let's just take, for instance, pan-colored people, their community. I know that a lot of them are actually out trying to see if they can do the right thing. Okay, but I think the work needs to be done starting from your surroundings. Will I say maybe your family or relations that surround you before maybe looking out elsewhere. What am I saying? There are a lot of some group of pan-colored women who actually do have some category of rare and cis family members, but these people chose to turn blind eyes from these family members, then looking outside, looking for who to blame. You can as well start from educating your brother, relation, or whatsoever, whom you feel that, oh, this person is racist, or maybe when you see them actually treating someone so bad, maybe another race, you could just call them out, try to make them understand that everyone is equal, everyone is being created. You don't need to discriminate against anyone. What am I saying? I am saying this because of what really happened, a long time ago. Well, I wouldn't even say a long time ago. That's about months back, where something really happened, and I was just asking myself questions. So this uncle, who happens to be a black man, decided to go somewhere to do his normal job. I think he's into roofing or whatsoever that has to do with house. But on getting there, it's actually a place that is known for so many pan-colored people, surrounded or whatsoever. So he's doing his job. All of a sudden, there are some group of pan-colored people seated down wherever he was doing his job, and they started, using some racial slurs on him. Before you know it, they started saying that, oh, would you mind, like there is a hanging tree behind my house, like some kind of words like that. So when he now reacted, like, why would you say such a thing to me? I feel so hurt about what you told me. He was like, please do not come with your victim mentality. Yeah, I say what I say. There is a hanging tree that hang people that is like you, so you really, if you are so pissed, you can just go. Like, he was just so being, oh my god. But the most surprising thing is that there are so many pan-colored people there with him. Instead of them to call him out, like, what are you saying? Don't say that to him. You're probably hurting him. Most of them were just there looking and laughing. Like, looking and laughing at the young man. And this young man was just looking at them, trying to see if someone could stand up to him and actually tell him to stop saying such a thing, or maybe advise him not to use such words. But no, all of them were just laughing, and even if he calls out, look at what he's doing, a lot of them just ignored him. The worst part is that his wife was all there looking, and she was like, it's none of my business. But this is the same person that will still come out on social platforms to, oh my god, we need to, seriously, this is why I say it all begins from us, like from where you are. It mustn't like, it has to start there before looking elsewhere. Like, there is this uncle or brother or sister or cousin that has this thing in them. Anytime you see them, call them out, trying to like make them understand that no. I think starting from that, things might actually change drastically. But a lot of people are just ignoring it, and when they see that things have gotten out of proportion or out of hand, that's when everybody, oh my god, do I know? Oh my goodness, what will I do? Oh my goodness. No, there's no point crying about a spilled milk. I always use this phrase. My grandfather taught me, and he explained to me, it's better for you to safeguard this milk rather for it to spill than you are all there crying that, oh my god, I spilled my milk. No, you are in charge of this. You just have to try your best to safeguard it. So it's also applicable to all of the things that is happening between, Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please, if you don't subscribe to this channel or up to this extent, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like this video, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So if you watch up to this extent, leave your thought in the comment section, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you when I upload the next one.